Imagine waking nearly 1,000 years ago in a small wooden house surrounded by misty fields and quiet forests. There are no alarm clocks, no electricity, and no paved roads. Only the distant crowing of a rooster, the smell of smoke from a small fire, and the faint sound of church bells echoing across the countryside. This is medieval Europe in the 11th century, a world where life moves with the rhythm of nature and survival depends on hard work. For most people, the day begins before the sun rises above the horizon. Inside a small peasant cottage, a family slowly wakes as pale morning light slips through tiny wooden shutters. The house is simple and modest. Wooden walls surround a single room with a dirt floor, and in the center burns a small fire used for cooking and warmth. Smoke drifts slowly upward through a hole in the roof. Life here is humble, but it is the reality for the vast majority of people in medieval Europe. Breakfast is simple and practical. Most peasants eat coarse bread made from barley or rye, sometimes accompanied by a bowl of warm porridge. Fresh vegetables like onions or cabbage may be added if they are available. Meat is rare for ordinary villagers and usually reserved for special days or festivals. Food must last through the seasons, and nothing can be wasted. After the meal, the real work begins. As the first sunlight spreads across the fields, villagers leave their homes and walk toward the farmland that surrounds the village. The land belongs not to them, but to the local lord who controls the territory. Under the feudal system, peasants work the land in exchange for protection and the right to live there. The fields stretch far into the distance. Some farmers guide heavy wooden plows pulled by oxen, slowly cutting through the soil to prepare it for planting. Others sow seeds by hand, carefully scattering grain across the earth. During harvest season, entire families gather in the fields, cutting wheat with sickles and bundling it into large sheaves. The work is slow, repetitive, and exhausting. The sun climbs higher in the sky, and the heat of the day settles across the countryside. Men, women, and even children help with the labor. Farming is not the task of a single person, but of the entire village. Everyone plays a role in ensuring the harvest is successful, because a failed harvest can bring hunger to the entire community. Despite the hard work, life in the village is not without moments of connection and cooperation. Neighbors help each other repair homes, share tools, and assist during planting and harvest seasons. The survival of the village depends on teamwork and trust. Back at the cottages, daily life continues. Inside the small homes, women often manage many of the household tasks. They prepare food, mend clothing, care for young children, and tend small gardens or animals such as chickens and goats. Homes are modest but full of activity. Simple wooden tables, clay pots, and woven baskets fill the interior. Life is built around necessity rather than comfort. Clothing is also simple and practical. Most peasants wear garments made from rough wool or linen, tunics tied with belts, sturdy leather shoes, and cloaks to protect against cold weather. These clothes are designed for durability, not fashion. Bright colors and fine fabrics are reserved for nobles and wealthy merchants living in castles and cities. High above the village, often on a hill or surrounded by stone walls, stands the castle of the local lord. These castles are symbols of power and authority. Within their thick stone walls live nobles, soldiers, and knights who serve the Lord and defend the land. Knights trained with weapons such as swords, shields, and lances. They wear heavy armor and ride powerful horses into battle when called upon. But for most peasants, the castle is a distant presence, a reminder of the social order that governs their lives. Peasants must also give a portion of their crops or labor to the Lord as tax. This obligation ensures protection, but also keeps them at the lowest level of the feudal hierarchy. Religion plays a powerful role in daily life as well. At the center of most villages stands a small stone church. The church is not only a place of worship, but also a place where the community gathers. Church bells mark the passage of time and remind villagers of important religious events. Many people believe that their lives and fortunes are guided by divine will. Faith offers comfort in a world filled with uncertainty. Monks in nearby monasteries dedicate their lives to prayer, learning, and preserving knowledge by carefully copying books and manuscripts by hand. As the day slowly moves toward evening, the work in the fields begins to end. Farmers return to their homes tired from hours of labor beneath the sun. Smoke rises from cottage chimneys as families prepare their evening meal. Dinner is simple but welcome after a long day. Bread, vegetables, perhaps a stew cooked slowly over the fire. Families gather around the warm glow of the hearth to eat and share stories from the day. Sometimes villagers gather together outside their homes. They exchange news, tell stories, and enjoy small moments of laughter before night falls. In a world without modern entertainment, conversation and community are the center of social life. Above them, the sky grows darker and fills with countless stars. The village grows quiet. Soon, families return to their beds of straw and wool blankets, resting before the cycle begins again with the next sunrise. For most people in medieval Europe, life is not about kings, wars, or great historical events. It is about survival, family, and the steady rhythm of the seasons. Yet these simple villages and hard-working communities slowly shape the future of Europe. Over generations, trade expands, towns grow, and new ideas spread across the continent. What may seem to us today like a distant and primitive world was in fact the foundation upon which modern Europe was built. And as the night settles over the quiet medieval village, with the soft glow of firelight and the distant echo of church bells, we are reminded that history is not only written by kings and warriors. It is also written by millions of ordinary people, farmers, craftsmen, mothers, and children, who lived their lives in places just like this nearly 1,000 years ago. Their world may be gone, but the echoes of their lives still shape the world we live in today.